how I built a $30 million empire at 21 year by year.
I ride for my niggas, dawg. I ride for my niggas. I slide for my niggas, dawg. I ride for my niggas.
At 15, I was selling candy in cafeterias to make a quick buck. At 16 to 17, I was drop shipping jewels and I literally had a gun pulled on me. At 18, I hit my first million in the bank. At 19, I was scaling multiple 7-figure brands. And at 20, I cracked 8 figures. And at 21, I built a $30 million empire using AI in ways people didn't even know existed. But here's what people don't tell you about the journey. It wasn't the products, it wasn't the ads, and it definitely wasn't the money that changed everything. It was one decision that I made at 20 years old that completely transformed how I did business. I'm gonna break down my entire journey year by year, expose the exact strategies that I do, and show you guys how we're using AI to make millions a month. By the end of this video, you'll have an entire AI blueprint to build your own brand regardless of your age or experience. And look, I know there's a lot of fake gurus out there, so let me show you guys the screenshots and some looms to prove that it's real. So you guys can see on the screen here, we've consistently been making over 30K a day. That's over $1 million a month with our e-commerce brands. And this is not only just working for me, there's so many other people out there that I've personally coached to help get to their own $1 million status with e-commerce. The strategies we use really work because, again, we use it ourselves. And people that learn from me, they're not learning directly from me, but they're learning with me. All the stuff that we learn on a day-to-day running our brands, our students get as well, from the same connections that we are acquiring, the same AI processes that we're using, the same product strategy methods we're using. Everything you can think of in the business, we're giving the people who join our program inside of Brandify. So again, guys, if you're interested in that, the link is in bio. And by the way, this isn't some cherry-picked Black Friday number for all your other e-com guys out there. This is just a normal day, just another Tuesday running our brands. So stick around so you guys can see exactly how I'm doing this and exactly how I got to this position as being a multi-e-commerce millionaire at just 21 years of age. Let me take you guys back to when I was 16 and had absolutely no idea that I'd be sitting at a $30 million empire at just 21. I need to be brutally honest with you guys from the beginning because I know a lot of gurus lie about their background. I didn't come from nothing. My family was pretty decent. My dad drove a nice BMW. My mom was fine. She could buy what she wanted, and we went to nice dinners sometimes. It was middle class. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. And honestly, guys, most modern day entrepreneurs come from middle class. They don't come from rags to riches. But here's what was different. Even at 16, even at 15, I had an obsessive nature to turn $1 into $2. Not because I needed the money, right? Because we were middle class. It was because I had innate nature to be an entrepreneur. I just loved the game. I was one of those weird kids that got excited by making money and not by spending it. At 15, I started one of the most basic hustles you guys can think, and that was selling candy. I remember I would get 30 to 40 Smarties, if you guys don't know what those candies are. Absolutely great. I'll get 30 or 40 of them for a couple bucks, and I'll sell just 1 or 2 of them for $2 to $3 a pop. Was I making bank? Hell no. I was addicted to putting in work and getting money back. Then I got a little bit aggressive. I saw everybody in my high school and middle school smoking jewels, so I went on a simple site called DHgate, and this is probably gonna get me banned on YouTube, but who cares? I saw everybody using black jewels, I think some pink ones in the market, and I thought, what if I found like a different color jewel, right? So we actually started sourcing gold and Rick and Morty jewels from DHgate, and I started flipping them at school. And to be honest, all it was just me going on DHgate, seeing that I could get these gold jewels. And by the way, the reason why we use DHgate is because it's non-regulated. I mean, you can literally buy a Glock on DHgate. Probably gonna get banned for that, but we would see these jewels on DHgate. I knew that people were smoking them at school, so I had to buy them. So I took a leap and I bought 50 of them, and they sold fast, faster than I even thought was possible. I'm not even lying, that was probably the fastest I've ever sold stock. And that was the first time in my life where I realized I could spot an opportunity before other people, I could make money off of it. I was making a couple grand a week at just 16 years old. I even started expanding into stuff that I probably would get in trouble for saying, but let's just say jewels weren't the only thing I was selling that you could smoke. And again, probably gonna get banned for it, but I'm being transparent. But like any other business, it wasn't smooth sailing. The game taught me early on that I have to learn the lessons the hard way. I was getting scammed constantly. I mean, guys, I was 15, 16 selling jewels to people who were way older than me. So obviously they took advantage of my body. Not my body, but you know, you guys know what I mean. a lot of things used to happen. Suppliers would send me wrong products, or these guys in China, I was selling jewels to some random person like me online. Sometimes they might miss some stock, or they might send just random stuff. I remember one time I literally got a brick in the mail. Like, that's not a jewel, bro. I can't smoke this. For example, I remember another time I ordered 30 gold ones and they sent 25 black ones. Like, no one's gonna buy the black ones off of me if they can just go to the smoke shop from their older brother or whatnot. So that was pretty bad. And like I said, guys, I even went down the path of selling stuff like weed, which again, don't recommend it, but this is part of my journey. And remember, guys, it was never for the money. It's not like I needed the money. I had what I needed. I had clothes on my back, food on my plate. My parents were extremely generous. I just loved the game. It didn't feel like work to me. It felt like just me having fun. And I remember one time in specific, and this was like the first huge L I took in business. I ordered a bunch of gold jewels. Remember, gold was the one that was selling the most. I ordered a bunch of gold jewels off of this supplier on DHK. I got them on the mail. Everything was great. And I was already calculating my numbers. I knew, okay, this guy wanted some, this girl wanted some, this guy wanted some. So I already knew everything would sell out instantly. And I got a message on Snapchat from this one other dealer that went to another school, I think a couple blocks away. And he was like, hey man, I see you're selling these jewels. A lot of people at this school want them. Can I come and pick up like basically all the ones you have? And I'm like, well, lucky for you, bro. I just got like 35 in the mail. Come through, we can make out a deal. And he gave me a very generous offer. I remember I was so excited because if this deal went through, I would literally had made, I think like $2,000 profit just like that, which at the time was obviously a lot of goddamn money. I mean, think about it. Like, I just turned 16 and I'm about to make $2,000 off one deal. And like, no one knows I'm doing this. My parents don't know, no one knows. $2,000 is a lot. I can go ahead and do whatever I want with that. I remember it like it was yesterday. I pulled up to the car. He pulled up right outside my mom's house, which honestly wasn't the smartest thing because again, my parents didn't know what I was doing. I went outside and the car was there. He was in the car. He wouldn't get out. So I went and I knocked on the window, right? I remember when he rolled down the window, he had a little bit of cash in his hand, which I was assuming was the money he was going to give me. He said, hand over the jewels. And obviously my dumb ass was like, okay, here you go, buddy. So I handed it over. He handed me over the cash. And quickly he started to drive away. And next thing I know, I'm looking through the cash and it's just like fake money. Like, it's like fake money. There's some paper in there. It was a scam, right? So instantly I knew, okay, I just got scammed. I just got cooked. Let me go and try and chase this guy down like the big hero I am. So as the car is driving away, and by the way, he wasn't driving away that fast, and here's why. I start running towards the car and I'm like, yo, bro, like, give me my money. Like, I think I'm like Pablo Escobar or whatever. Remember, I'm only 16 at the time. I pull up to the car. For some reason, he starts slowing down, right? Because he could just easily drive away as fast as he wanted to. He was only going like 10 miles per hour. So I pull up and he stops the car. Again, all I see is red. Like, I'm not really thinking. So he stops the car. I start like banging on the window. I'm like, yo, like, bro, what the hell? Like, I'm like showing him the money, the window's down. He looks over to me. He looks back and he rolls on the window and he's not saying anything. And he slowly just reaches over, puts a gun on his lap and just looks over to me. And obviously I backed up because my life is worth more than a couple grand. So that was a pretty hefty lesson to learn. I got a gun legitimately pulled on me at just 16 years of age. I remember going back home that day, laying on the couch. It was pretty late at night. It was like 2 a.m. on like a Wednesday or something. And sitting on the couch and I'm just looking at the ceiling. I'm like, oh my God, I just lost so much goddamn money. Why am I doing this, right? I just had like a realization moment of like, why am I even selling these jewels? I don't even need the money. Like, what's going on here? And I remember I called up one of my friends at the time and I was like, dude, like, this is what happened. Fuck this guy. By the way, the guy's name was Julian, by the way. So Julian, if you're watching this, fuck you, bro. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, Julian just robbed me, bro. Like, he just took all my jewels. Like, what the hell? My friend goes like, why are you even doing this anyway? Like, you don't need to sell jewels. Like, you're doing well, bro. Like, your family's doing well. You're gonna go to college. Like, why are you even doing this, man? And I'm like, why am I doing this, bro? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And I remember I'm like, bro, like, I don't want to give up because now I feel like if I don't order more, if I don't keep trying to sell stuff, I feel like I'm giving up on something. And he's like, giving up on what? Like, what are you even trying to go for? And I'm like, I don't know. Something different. It was hard to explain to people and I don't know why I stuck with it, but that was genuinely the first time in my life where I felt defeat. And honestly, I felt defeat a lot in my life after that moment in other businesses, but we'll get to that later. What I learned at 16 and 17 changed everything. Every failure I had was teaching me something and leading me closer to the goals I wanted. I was growing thick skin and more importantly, I was learning that business isn't a smooth road. And I learned that I genuinely loved this game. Even when I was losing money, looking back, I was still happy for some reason. But everything changed when I realized I could make all these small side hustles look like pocket change. At 17, I thought I found the golden ticket, Amazon FBA, but I was about to learn the most expensive lesson in my entrepreneurship journey. I was making decent money off side hustles. I was still selling jewels, sold some weed, and I also was flipping sneakers at the time. But I wanted something bigger. I stumbled across YouTube videos of Amazon FBA, ironically enough because my dad told me to watch them. Shout out my dad. People talking about starting real brands on Amazon and making real money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. This wasn't as huge as it is today, but it was definitely a huge opportunity. I became obsessed every single night of staying up till 3 to 4 a.m. just taking notes. I had a binder about this thick of notes on Amazon FBA, everything you could think of about that business. To this day, I actually still have that binder. It's somewhere in my other apartment, but it's honestly so memorizing. I literally watched every YouTube video, went through all these Reddit forums. I did everything you could to learn everything about this business model. After months of research, I finally found a product that I knew was gonna make me millions, and that is the Dragon Incense Burner. It was like a little home decor thing. It was like a little dragon, and you put the incense on it, you burn it at the top and the smoke goes through the dragon. It's a pretty simple product. I was so convinced, guys, that this was gonna make me a millionaire, you don't even know. I found a supplier on Alibaba and I shipped as much inventory as I could afford to the Amazon FBA warehouse. Here's the thing, because I took so many notes and I really knew this business model in and out, I thought I had my golden nugget. I put literally all my money on the line, which was like a couple $1,000s, but it was everything I had in the moment. And guys, Amazon destroyed me. There was so many fit-in fees that no one talked about, like picking and packing or extra storage fee or all this other stuff that just completely destroyed me. When the inventory arrived at the warehouse, I was already being charged before even shipping it out because it took 30 days for the listing to get up. I was already being charged for membership fees, other fees. I was dying, guys. And the worst part, the day the listing went up, I remember it like it was yesterday, it went down right away because the item had flammable things. Basically, the incense burners themselves were flammable and I wasn't able to sell it. Every time I fixed the issue, the listing would just go right down again. It was like every time I finally got it to work, it went down. Every time I finally got it to work, it went down. I was never able to keep the listing up and therefore never able to sell the stock. Eventually, I just gave up. I literally couldn't sell the stock. The inventory was just sitting. I was losing money on it, not only from the investment of the inventory, but all the fees that started to pile up. I took a loss. And that was one of the lowest parts of my entrepreneurship journey. I wasn't just losing money, but I was losing the love for the game. And guys, that's who made me who I was in the first place, the love for the game. I truly felt lost and I was being pressured by my family to go to college and prioritize stuff that actually matters. But even during my lowest point, I kept watching these entrepreneurship videos, these other gurus, and eventually I stumbled across dropshipping.
Breaking into the spotlight is a business model that's turning everyday people into millionaires.
Coming from Amazon FBA, dropshipping made perfect sense. I mean, no inventory costs, no upfront costs, no pick and pack fees, no BS stuff that you had to deal with before. You could continuously test products with little to no capital. It felt like I found a new gold mine. I started binge watching videos, trying to set up stores as fast as possible. I was addicted once again. I would do product research whenever I had time, but the key factor is coming from Amazon FBA, I understood one thing that most dropshippers didn't even know, and that was branding. While everyone at the time was doing general stores with thousands of products, I decided to focus on one product, one store, and good branding. That feeling of making money from my laptop while I sleep was the thing that kept me obsessed. The thing that I thought I was gonna get with Amazon that I didn't, that I wanted to get with dropshipping, that true feeling of passive income. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this as well, but that feeling of like being able to sleep and make money, I don't know how to put it into words, but it just feels like true freedom. It's not like you're giving cash to somebody and getting cash back. It's literally like your phone is making you money. Like this device right here is keeping you rich. Fast forward 30 products, I found my first true winner. And I remember the exact moment when I started to get sales for that product. I was at the park with my family. We launched the product about, I wanna say 12 hours before this moment, And I remember I was at the park. It was like a nature park. I think we were in water. I don't remember exactly where, but I wasn't on my phone for a majority of the day, and I came back around 7 p.m. I remember looking at my phone and seeing $1,000 in sales. It was my first 1K day, and it was a huge aha moment. I thought if I could do this, I could do 10K a day. Why not 100K a day? Maybe even one day, $1 million a day. And the beautiful thing about dropshipping is you can spend more to make more. If you spend $100 on ads, make 300 back. What says you can't spend $1,000 on ads, make 3,000 back? When I saw specific ads working, I just spent more on those ads and made more back. I started even making my own content, filming ads in my backyard to get more sales. I didn't like doing it, but when you're making $10,000 a day, it doesn't matter. You do what works. Funny story, actually, one of my old classmates recognized the backyard in one of the videos because the video landed on their TikTok feed. I remember this exact moment because it gave me so much fire in my heart. A girl told me that, why are you selling these lighters? Like, you can't buy a house selling lighters. I was so pissed because they didn't even know that this business was making me over $5,000 a day, and I didn't want to brag to them and tell them. And that was a big change for me. That's the day I realized I couldn't stay in the same social circle. I had to cut everyone off. Switching up on your day ones is the best thing ever. And honestly, guys, it wasn't that hard. When you want something bad enough, sacrificing your old life, it's easy. It's like when a gecko sheds its skin or a caterpillar grows out of it and becomes a butterfly. It's not hard. If you genuinely want that new life, it hurts to stay in that old life that you're living. It feels mundane and it feels like you're not escaping. I don't get why entrepreneurs come on here and talk about how it's so hard to be alone and switch up and, grow your business. I found switching up on my day ones to be the easiest thing ever. And honestly, guys, that's when shit really started to go crazy. At 18, I hit my first million in the bank. It was a huge euphoric moment. I became a millionaire at 18. I became a millionaire before I could even buy a drink at the bar, before I was even let in the club. I became a millionaire and I was still being told what to do, what to wear, who to talk to, what not to do, who to listen to. I literally became a millionaire while still being taught in school by people who were making 60K a year. It was such a mind fuck. I remember I was playing UFC because I love video games, by the way. That's one thing I've never stopped doing. I was playing UFC one night and I just got a thought like, wait a minute, we hit 100K this month. We hit 100K last month, and we damn well hit 100K the month before that. And I started doing the numbers in my head. So the second I finished that online match, I went over and I checked the bank account, I checked the payouts coming in, I checked everything, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm a fucking millionaire. It felt normal because nothing changed on my day to day, to be honest with you guys. But hitting that first 1K a day, that was the real game changer. That's when I realized that it's infinite scalability from here on out. Key lessons I learned from 16 to 18 was speed is everything. I wasted months taking notes on Amazon when I could have just went to market as quick as possible and got feedback. I found great joy in helping people, and along this time, this is when I started actually coaching my first students, helping people build their own e-commerce brand. And the big thing about how I coach is I actually do the business model. So all the things that I'm learning on a day-to-day, all the stuff that I'm learning with my own stores, I always help and show other people what I'm doing. We've had our first couple students absolutely crush it because not only are they building their own stores, but they're watching me build mine too. So it's not like you're learning from a teacher, it's like you're learning with the teacher. And that's why we created Brandify, where we teach other people how to do exactly what we're doing. As always, guys, if you're interested in building your own e-commerce brand, be sure to check out Brandify. The link is in bio if you're interested. Also, your biggest failures tend to be your biggest breakthroughs. If it wasn't for losing everything on Amazon, I would never have figured out dropshipping. Making my first million felt amazing, but I had no idea that the real game was just beginning. Because at 19, I figured out something that could 10x my operation and my income, but it would nearly break me. At 19, I wasn't just building one store anymore. I was scaling multiple stores, building my own multi-million-dollar portfolio. But I was doing it in the hardest way possible. I figured out the dropshipping game for my electric lighter brand, Avant Lights. It peaked around $20,000 a day in sales, but I was not satisfied with just one winner. I had this mentality that if one product could make me $1 million, 10 products could make me 10 million. So I started testing multiple products simultaneously on other stores. The carnelian stone was my next big winner. We made over $1 million profit on this product. But guys, I was doing everything manually and it was killing me. Product research, creatives, media buying, everything you can think of was been done by me. I'd spend 30 minutes a day liking and commenting on different TikTok and Instagram accounts so I could get new products. I remember at one point I had like 5 phones doing product research on everything. For creative testing, I remember I was personally managing dozens dozens of creatives a day across multiple brands. I was following a strategy that I still use to this day called progressive creative overload, where you're launching 5 to 10 creatives a day per brand. 5 the first day, 5 the next day, and so on and so forth. We cut the ones that weren't working and kept scaling the ones that are break even or profitable. It's actually funny, my supplier used to call me Superman. I literally never slept. He'd message me at 4 a.m., reply at 4:01. He messaged me at 10 a.m., I would reply at 10:01. He would message me at 3 p.m., I'd reply at 3:01. I was always on it. I was always working. He was actually genuinely concerned for my health. I mean, from all the people he used to work with, he's never seen somebody this switched on. But I was just addicted to the growth. The team was growing like crazy. I had media buyers, I had creative strategists, I had editors, I had customer service VAs. I was hiring people left and right. At one point, I had a team of over 40 people. The complexity was insane. At 19, I was hitting 500K months consistently. And at 20, I was doing 1 million months and then 2 million a month. But here's what no one talks about, the operational nightmare behind those numbers. Every day was chaos. Ad accounts getting banned constantly. Payments getting hold constantly. Products not shipping out on time constantly. Suppliers randomly raising prices, team members randomly quitting. I was putting out fires every single day. The first thing I did when I wake up, put out a fire. Later in the day, put out a fire. Before I sleep, put out a fire. I was putting out fires constantly. But I kept pushing because I knew if I could get a product to hit, I'm taking it to 30K a day within weeks. And sometimes ads would just flop or shit the bed, as my mentor used to say. Sometimes I remember I'd launch an ad, it would do well, I'll scale it up, now we're spending 20K a day, bringing back maybe, let's say 60K a day. Out of nowhere, one day I wake up, we spent 20K, brought back 50. Now we're negative 10K or something like that on the day. Shit happens. I mean, losing 10K a day would give most people heart attacks, but not me, because again, I was in love with the game. Big problem was I was the bottleneck of everything. Every major decision went through me. Every creative strategy, every media buying decision, anything. Everything was going through me. I was working 16 to 18 hours a day constantly. I started to think there has to be a better way to do this. The breakthrough I had was when I realized I was thinking like a small business owner. I had to start thinking like a real CEO and everything would change. Lessons I learned from 19 to 20. Systems beat the hustle every time. You can't scale past 7 figures by just working harder. You have to work smarter. Also, being a bottleneck in your business will eventually kill you slowly over time. And trust me, speaking from experience, you will lose your sanity. By 20, I was making more money than I could even imagine. But I was working 16-hour days and barely keeping up with my own success. That's when I made a decision that would absolutely change everything. And it had nothing to do with finding better ads or finding better products. At 20 years old, I made a bet. While everybody was still doing dropshipping the old ways, here's the decision that changed everything. I decided to rebuild my entire operations around AI. Not just by using AI tools here and there, but fundamentally changing how I build and scale brands using artificial intelligence. Everyone thought I was crazy. I had a $20 million yearly operation running, and I'm talking about changing absolutely everything. Let me show you guys how this transformation happened and how I was able to take this operation from just 10 to 20 million a year close to $30 million a year automated. First, product research. I used to do product research on so many different outdated platforms and used to do it manually with my own TikTok accounts, but I found AI called Calodata that allowed me to find all the products I wanted to all in one place. For example, if you just navigate over to the product section, you can find products that are selected by AI based off of how much revenue they're doing. So you're actively seeing products that are making money. You can see products that are making over 60K a day. And on top of that, you can apply my BIE framework to find which products are worth selling. BIE meaning branded, insecurity focused, and most importantly, evergreen. Branded means I can build a real business around it, not some pump and dump dropshipping product. Insecurity meaning it targets emotional weakness. This is how you get those impulse purchases online. Weight loss, skincare, libido, all this great stuff. Evergreen meaning the demand is always there, not relying on trends. Best part is when I find products on Calodata, I can see the winning creatives right there. We can use them for inspiration. And for my more aggressive guys out there, you can use them for ads that you can rip for your own store. This AI shows me what products are working, what hooks are working, what ads are working, literally anything you need to get your own store off the ground. Next is store building. I use Atlas to build out stores. I can literally build out stores in minutes with AI. I just input a product URL, in minutes it creates a whole entire product page with key marketing points, images, and everything else you can think of. Pricing, bundles, even subscription. What used to take hours or even days now takes minutes or even seconds. The crazy part is, guys, these AI stores are converting better than manual built stores. I mean, AI knows what to do better than humans when it comes to e-com. Next part, and this is where things get a little tricky, creative. We've been using AI tools to automate the whole entire creative process from scratch. From using Flare AI for product and static photography, to 11 Labs to create actual AI creatives from scratch, to Midjourney to actually putting those creatives together and getting images, to ChatGPT to writing hooks and bodies, to one of my favorites being ArcAds, which helps you create real AI creators. So you don't need to use UGC or influencers anymore for your videos. You can legitimately get an AI creator to talk about your product, which looks realistic. And by the way, I have no affiliation with these guys. These are just tools that we use. The whole entire creative process has been automated with AI. We went from testing 20 to 30 creatives a day with struggling to get it up to testing 100 plus a day with ease. The best part is you can use AI tools on the media buying side to literally analyze everything and tell you what's working and what isn't. There's even ChatGPT plugins on the platforms like Triple Whale where you can ask it questions about your store after plugging in all the data and figuring out exactly what you need to do and what you don't need to do in order to scale. Not to mention, AI handles customer service for us. We have AI reps and AI call centers that help with everything and help identify what we need to focus on and what we need to fix. AI helps with inventory management, helping us forecast. And more importantly, as a founder, AI helps me with market analysis. I can now see trends before anyone else because I know what tools to use. And by the way, guys, some of the tools I mentioned are just a scratch of the surface of all the tools that we actually use on a day-to-day basis and how to use them. The results, insane. Within 6 months of implementing AI into our businesses, we reduced our team size but increased our profit and revenue. Profit margins increased by 30 to 40% to be exact. Revenue exploded because we're testing way more than other people and way more intention behind it. My working hours went from 16-hour days to now 2 hours a day. Some days I don't even work. For example, the store that you guys are looking at right now was done completely with AI. Atlas made the whole thing, Flare made the images, and some of the other tools I mentioned before made this store. So again, this is what it looks like in real use practice. Key lessons from 20 to 21 is technology is everything. Find leverage or you will find defeat. AI isn't coming, it's already here. The businesses that adopted to the AI will dominate, and not just the next decade, but the next 12 months. Those who don't use it will be left behind. And this is just the beginning. What I'm building right now with AI will make everything I've done up until this point look small. Now at 21, sitting at a $30 million empire, I can tell you that everything I thought I knew about business was wrong. The biggest lesson in business is not about working harder. It's about building systems that work without you. At 16, I thought success meant grinding 24/7. At 19, I thought success means scaling everything manually. And at 21, I realized it's about creating success through leveraging technology. Recently, I went to Malawi to visit some of the schools that I built with the money I made through these businesses. Seeing real poverty for the first time, meeting kids who don't have basic necessity like water or electricity. It completely changed my perspective on wealth. Here at 21, with more money than what people make in a lifetime, and there are kids out there that are genuinely happy with so much less. The trip taught me that money is just a tool. The real game is impact. The schools I built will educate and feed thousands of children, and that's a legacy that matters more than any revenue number. But let's talk about business lessons because that's why you guys are here. Here's what I learned at each age. Age 16 to 17, love the process, not the results. Every failure is data that makes you better. And most people will give up after their first few failures. But guys, those failures are your competitive advantage. Age 18, focus beats everything. One winning product with better branding than most will beat 10 mediocre products. Cut off people that don't help you in your life. It's time for you to focus on what actually matters. And most importantly, speed is everything. Don't overthink it, just move. At 19, I learned that working smarter is better than working harder. You cannot scale past 7 figures just by being a one-man show. Sometimes you need to work smarter in order to be able to work harder. At 20, I learned that technology is everything. AI isn't coming, it's already here. The businesses that adopt AI will dominate for the next decade. At 21, I learned the most important lesson, and that is impact matters more than income. But you need income to create impact. Build businesses that can change lives, not just make money. The AI revolution in e-commerce is just getting started. Right now, there's a massive opportunity for anyone who's willing to learn these systems. Here's what I want you guys to really take home. At 16, I started with nothing. No trust fund, no special connections, no secret know-how to do things. I came from middle class and I had the same opportunity as millions of other kids. The only difference between where I am and where you are the decisions we make. make. The opportunity with AI right now is bigger than what dropshipping was back in 2020 or what Bitcoin was back in 2016. If you're serious about building something real, here's exactly what you need to do. Focus on branded products that are built off of insecurities that you find on AI tools like Data. Build stores with Atlas AI or any AI tools out there that help you build stores quickly. Create content with AI tools like I mentioned before. Test 5+ creatives daily. Keep it simple with ads, because guys, simple scales. And automate as much as you can as possible. More importantly, if you guys want the exact strategies and tools that I use on a day-to-day basis, the same frameworks and basically anything you can think of like connections that took us from $10 million to $30 million in sales, I've put it all together in our community Brandify. And it's not just some baseline course. You're gonna be working alongside me and hundreds of other students and tens of other coaches that are gonna help you scale and build your own e-commerce brand. I've legitimately built an empire and built an academy teaching people how to build their own empire. From what products to test, to what connections to use, to how to set up your store and how to leverage the right AI tools, to how to make your creatives, we all teach this inside of Brandify. Not only do you get 40+ hours of our content library, but you're getting one-on-one help from me and the coaches, you're getting group calls, you're learning from us, and more importantly, you're seeing my own brand. I expose all my own brands inside of Brandify, and everyone who's inside of there knows exactly what's working and what isn't. And don't get me wrong, you can still find success without having access to Brandify. However, it's way smarter and way easier to work alongside and with people who are already killing it. Think of AI tools like holding an axe and cutting down a tree. If you don't know how to hold the axe properly, you might not be able to cut down that tree properly. Even though the axe is the right thing to use to cut down the tree, if you don't know how to use it properly, it might not work for you. That's the same thing with these AI tools, guys. If you don't know how to use them properly, you might not be able to squeeze every part of efficiency out of them, and you might get beaten out the market. That's why we created Brandify, because if you don't have someone holding your hand, it might be hard to go through this transition of the AI revolution we are seeing right now. And I can speak for myself, guys, I am killing it right now with AI. Like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, we're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a week with or without you guys. So I'm telling you right now, if you want to be a part of the winning team, the link is in bio, schedule a call, and I'll see you guys there. Remember guys, age is just a number. I built all this at just 21. At 16, I didn't even think I'd be here. And I honestly don't know where I'm going forward, but I just know if I do the right things, listen to the right people and follow the right advice, I will be exactly where I need to be. The only thing that matters for you and for me both is getting to work. So I'll see you guys on that call.